Former Browns defensive tackle Malik Jackson on the set of Good Morning Football, NFL Network, talking about what he remembers of playing with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney.
I just think you have two first round picks, guys that want to come in. For me, being on different teams, I was able to understand that when you go to a new team, it's this guy's team. You have to really take a step back and understand what the hierarchy is and who says what goes. So I think that's what needed to be done. I think, Myles was a young player, so, his maybe leadership skills weren't the best at that time. But I think as he's gotten older, he understands what it takes. He's had a lot of guys around him to be able to show him what he needs to do. And I think he needs to take that bull by the horns and just lead more by example as far as in the classroom, because we all know what he can do on the field. But to be able to go in the classroom, command that respect, and tell guys what to do, I think is where he really needs to take that jump.
What were those conversations like in 21? Like you're on that defensive line room. You have Myles Garrett, who's this incredible talent, but it's hard to make everybody else around you better, right?
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things. Some guys just don't have it when they, you know what I mean? Especially you have, say, me and you get a Jadeveon and Clowney. You have older guys in the room that can't take that, but the younger guys are going to respect the guys that they want to be like. And so when Myles, he can sit in the front and relax and do his thing, but when guys are looking at him, they want to do that, but then you have an older guy saying, no, you can't do that, do this. I think he just needs to be able to transition and be more of that, like, okay, I'm going to play the game and do this and do that, even though I might not want to, but I understand these guys are looking at me. And I think that's the jump he needs to take.
Let's welcome in Quincy Carrier, Untitled, Unfiltered Browns coverage. Quincy, I understand what Malik Jackson is saying. A player has to be who he is, personality-wise. You can't be fake. You can't be. You can't manufacture it. And I think as Myles has developed the last couple of years, I think you've heard him be more outspoken. And obviously, you and I aren't sitting in the meeting rooms, but I'm guessing he's probably assumed that a little bit more as he's gotten a little older.
Yeah, he'll probably grow into that more and more as he gets older. I believe he's not 30. Like the guys that we're comparing him to, Malik Jackson, he's plus 30. Like these are guys who are in the league in large part, because they're vets, not because they're top level players. And Myles is a little bit of a different story. When you're as good at football as he is, it's not really a requirement that you are this leader. And also it's like, what's Myles Garrett going to teach somebody? How to run right past somebody? Like how to get past? Like, I'm pretty sure there's some technique stuff that he has, but like even a technique is unique to him because he's such a uniquely built individual that, yeah, this move might work. If I stick a long arm into somebody and dip underneath them, but not everybody is capable of doing that. I always think, like, when it comes to leadership, Myles, there's a level of leadership that he needs to exhibit. He doesn't need to get in a car accident because he's driving super fast. He doesn't need to have all this other stuff happen. He can certainly try to fix that and clean those things up as his career goes on. But also, I feel like the type of leadership Malik Jackson's talking about, that's going to come from a Dalvin Thomas, that caliber of player, right? Somebody who's been to a Pro Bowl, but not necessarily a perennial guy, because that's the more obtainable person that you can get the leadership from. And if you look at coaches, players who turn into coaches, they're not the superstar players all the time, right? Like there's very rarely a superstar player that also becomes a head coach. It happens every once in a while, but usually the guys who become head coach are like the really good role players, that caliber of player, because those are the guys who need to lead, and part of their value is leading. So yeah, I kind of see what Malik's saying. There's some stuff that Myles could do to just make his life a little bit easier, to make sure that he's not as open to criticism that's kind of unnecessary and not related to his play. Sure. But I think also when it comes to his leadership ability, that's just so far from the most important thing that he's asked to provide.
Yeah, and the other thing is everybody grows in their job, and that leadership is something that if he feels more comfortable, great. If not, just keep getting 16 to 20 sacks a year, and we'll call it a day.